Today I'm going to be going through how much money I spent in 2025, how much money I earned in 2025, where I spent it, if I'm happy with that amount, and my planning goals for 2026. So today's video is going to be a bit different. I've been trying to do more personal finance videos recently other than my usual stock portfolio update videos, but I'm going to be going through breaking down my income, expenses, where I spent that money. I'll go through some of a bit more details, and then I'm also going to give a quick little portfolio update at the end, as I do have my two stock portfolios sitting at over $130,000, and that ties into my overall income and goals for next year. So starting off with the income section, so this is the part lots of people like to see. This is my monthly income after taxes, after deductions, things like that. So you can see it's been quite steady this year. There's been some bigger months like April, and then definitely September. As in September you get, and April I get the 3 payments, just because I'm paid fortnightly. And then I also received a pro rata bonus, so a bit of a smaller bonus, as I hadn't been at my company for a full year, and it only went up to the financial year, so it was a bit smaller. But overall, that's how my monthly income looks. And then if we put that into an annual figure, you can see here it comes to $79,409. So that's how much I could take home at the end and how much was in my pocket. I also included my dividend income, because even though I'm not a dividend investor, and I stress that a lot on my channel, I do a lot of videos saying that all my dividends are reinvested back into my portfolio, but at the end of the day, it's still income that I earned. So you can see here my dividends were just under $2,000 for 2025 at $1,978. That takes my total post-tax and deductions income to $81,387, I believe it is. So not too bad. I am a 23-year-old investor, so this is kind of how things are looking for me. Obviously, as the years come on, I'm going to be earning more money, hopefully. I did get a pay rise, so my money's going to go up a bit more with that. And then if I stay at my company, my bonus will be for the full financial year, not smaller like it was this year. So we're already going on a good pattern. And then as I build my savings and investing, I will receive more interest, more dividends, just natural things like that. So yeah, hopefully it's only up from here. Next is kind of looking through the expenses. So if we look at my monthly expenses, I try to keep things pretty tight. This year I did do a few different things, so you'll be able to see travel is actually my biggest, so not to jump ahead, but you can see here's my monthly expenses amount. This averages out to around $2,500 a month. So my total expenses were just under $30,000, $29,000. So I'm quite happy with that. You can see some of the main ones that really drove that figure were the likes of rent. Travel was a big one. So this year for travel, I went to the United States. So I visited New York, Boston, and Washington. And I also went to Sydney. I went to Cairns, that was with work. So I've been able to travel to a few places. Reflecting on that, I'm quite happy with that amount, whilst it might look like a lot of money. So you can see here it's about $9,000. There would have been travel related expenses with food and things like that, which went into other categories. But this is just how I'm kind of breaking it up now. I am fine with that figure, as I am young. I think when I'm 35 or something, I'm looking back at 22-year-old me or 23-year-old me, I'd be more happy that I spent that money traveling and getting experiences globally, than just stashing it all away, as I am saving a heavy amount. As you can see, I invested around $29,000 this year as well, so very close to my expense figure. Yes, so building on that, the next one was rent. So you can see rent was my next biggest at nearly 30% as well. They do say try to keep your housing expenses under 30%, so that's what I've tried to do. That's obviously with your income, but this is just my expenses. And then there was the likes of education. So I've mentioned it briefly on this channel, but I'm studying towards my CFA charter. So I've already got a bachelor's degree in economics and finance, but now I'm working towards my CFA charter. In August this year, I passed my level 1 exam, so I had to purchase my things for my level 2 exam now in May. So that's why that takes up 10%, and that was around $3,000, just under. So quite pricey, but I can already see the benefits that it's having on my personal career and then my learning as well. So I'm happy to invest in myself and education, and I know going forward, I mean, I already have student loans, but I'd like to do a master's program as well. So I understand that I'll be spending more money on education. But again, I think that's an investment into myself, which I think is just as important as investing into my stocks and shares. So Some of the other ones were groceries, shopping, things like that. I'm actually quite happy with my areas like shopping and entertainment and things, so I've been able to keep those really small. I don't really do much shopping. I try not to get too many material things, as it does make it harder if you're moving or just in general getting use out of them, getting value. So I do shopping when I need stuff, such as work clothes, general clothes, but I've tried to take the approach of buying something well so I can wear it over many years. And then going overall through my expenses, it's a little bit less than the 29,000, but that's just because some little things were missing. But if we go through line by line, you can see rent, groceries and dining, shopping, entertainment, uncategorized, so that's just how my banking app split it up, auto and transport, so that was another big one. So auto and transport was around 10%. That includes my car registration, my insurance, and then also public transport. So I'm actually quite happy with that. I think for someone getting around for a full year, that's actually quite cheap. So I'm quite happy with that investment. I don't have a card loan or anything like that other people might have. My car is paid off. And then health and sports, so that's just like weekend soccer and stuff with friends or any other things. We've mentioned education, travel, and service and utilities. So things like my phone bill, includes some subscriptions, things like that. So overall, under $30,000 for the year. If I was to take a guess beforehand what I thought it would be, I would probably have guessed around 25. So it was a bit more, but in general, I'm not upset at all with that spending. I think it's very good. If I look back at things I was happy with the amount of, especially, I think overall I've been able to save on housing and things, areas like that. That's an area where I want to kind of keep it cheaper. So if I can save as much as possible on that, I can put towards my own house deposit. It's something I've mentioned on here. I am saving a decent amount in my bank account for a first home deposit. So that way I can keep as hopefully a fair amount of my investment stock portfolio, and then also have real estate as well, so I can kind of diversify my investment streams. So reflecting on this, my plan for next year is to do a similar thing, kind of do another breakdown video of how it's going. This is good for me to look back on as well. I can see which categories grew year on year. I think next year rent will probably grow for me, service and utilities, groceries, those kind of areas. I think travel will probably go down. I haven't planned any big trips for next year. I tried to do a trip every single year. So previously I've been to New Zealand, Japan, across Europe, and now the United States. So I will hopefully do something next year. I just haven't planned it. But in reality, when I reflect on it, I think it will be cheaper than what it was this year. I couldn't do anything about exchange rates, so they were quite rough for me going from AUD to USD. They've gotten a little bit better again, but overall, that I couldn't do much about that side of things. But I think it was a good investment. I got to see something new. I try to visit a new continent every time, just so I can kind of broaden my horizon as well. Next year, I'll hopefully also make more money. So I don't think my dividend income will increase that much, as none of my stocks that I'm currently investing in are real dividend payers, and then I sold out of VLC. So if we have a look at my investments, this kind of just shows my investment holdings a bit better. So you can see my American portfolio and my Australian portfolio. I used to hold a stock called VLC. VLC paid very strong dividends. It was it tracked the largest companies here in Australia who all pay pretty good dividend yields, but I sold out of that. So that is going to affect my overall dividend payments. But if we look year on year on my dividends, 2023, 2024, so my dividends for my stake portfolio actually went down because I used to invest in companies like JP Morgan, McDonald's, things like that paid a decent dividend yield. And now I'm very heavily focused towards tech with the likes of Amazon, Google, Microsoft, who don't pay the highest dividend. But you can see my Vanguard amount really jumped up with VLC. So my prediction for next year is probably around 1,500 in dividends. If I can get the same amount, I'll be quite happy. And again, it will all be reinvested back into my portfolio. Going through my personal income as well, this will obviously be a bit higher. I think after tax and bonus and things like that, maybe I can get that up to around 85,000 or so, maybe even higher. That would be quite good for me as I go into the following year and hopefully asking for a promotion or a pay rise. But again, I'm quite happy with this, especially with my spending habits. It allowed me to save around $51,000 last year, which can help pay for my MBA in the future or just general living expenses as I work to kind of build wealth. Going back to my investments, you can see my portfolios over time. This only gets updated at the end of the month, so the figures are out of date, but you can see with this going up, and then my overall net worth is really tracking up as well. I think with my increased income, that will really help kind of build this. But yeah, I just wanted to do this video to kind of keep myself in check, just to kind of show where my spending is, how I'm spending at the moment. I've never done a breakdown of this. I've always tracked my income, but not really my expenses. So it's good to group it into its different categories and kind of have a look at where I'm spending my money. Feel free to share where you're spending your money as well. It's good to hear what other people are doing or where I could improve, you think. Obviously people might say travel or things like that, which are kind of my big ones, but overall I'm quite happy with this. So hopefully you enjoy your holiday period, and that's all for now. Cheers.